It's another week, and here we go again. The Save America Act still in the hands of the United States Senate. Now, President Trump is giving it a push, writing in part, quote, "We are going to have the Save America Act one way or the other after approval by Congress through the very proper use of the filibuster, or at minimum by a talking filibuster, a la Mr. Smith goes to Washington." I spoke to the author of the bill earlier this week, Senator Mike Lee, who has a similar tone.
We don't have to change one rule. We don't have to nuke the filibuster as a whole. We just have to enforce our existing laws. Look, historically, the filibuster was understood as speaking. And over the last few decades, we've made it way too easy to where people can filibuster in their sleep or while on vacation, while at recess, at a bar, whatever. They don't have to show up and speak. All we're asking is that if you want to filibuster this bill, you should have to show up, stand up, seek recognition, and speak.
And if you think it's just Republicans wanting to change the filibuster, well, think again, Republicans. Listen to the former leader of the Democratic Party, Barack Obama, just 1 week ago.
There's been some unwillingness on the part of Democrats in the past to break down some of the institutional barriers for us getting stuff done. I'll give you an example that frustrated the heck out of me when I was president, which was the filibuster in the Senate. The Senate is already structurally skewed and anti-majoritarian, right? It's hard for majorities to get stuff done.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune has a different tone.
There aren't anywhere close to the votes, not even close, to nuking the filibuster. And so that idea is something, although it continues to be put out there, is something that doesn't have a future.
Well, my next guest has warned his Republican colleagues they will be in big trouble if they ignore Democrats' plans to nuke the filibuster. Republican Senator Ron Johnson is with me now. Senator Johnson, when you hear former President Barack Obama, the titular head of the Democratic Party, say that, what do you think Republicans should do, and what's your message to your colleagues?
Good morning, Haley. Well, first of all, I understand why there's a reluctance to end the filibuster, because as Republicans, as conservatives, we realize that our ability in the minority to stop awful legislation put forward by Democrats and the socialists in their party, we would have been down a far more destructive path a lot earlier were it not for the filibuster. The problem, though, is times have changed. Democrats have already shown their cards. They've already purged the two members that prevented the Democrats from ending the filibuster when they were last in this position. We know they will nuke the filibuster next time they get into power, and when they do it, they'll pack the Supreme Court, they'll turn D.C. and Puerto Rico into states, they'll do everything they can to turn this nation into a one-party state. That's what Democrats' goal is. So we just have to recognize that reality. And we ought to end the filibuster for the benefit of the American people, to secure our elections, to secure our border, to provide the kind of prosperity that President Trump and Kevin Hassett are trying to accomplish with their economic policies. So, again, I wish, quite honestly, that we could maintain the filibuster, but that time's passed. Next time Democrats in power, they will nuke it, and we will look like schmucks if we allow them to steal elections by not securing elections. What we're talking about, the Save America Act, it has something like 80% support, voter ID, 80% support or more, no matter what your political ideology is. So this is something the American people support. That's what we would use in, if not ending the filibuster, which I agree, John Thune, we probably don't have the votes right now in the conference, but there's no reason why we can't fight hard and make the Democrats defend their position that's at odds with about 80% of the American public that, opposing voter ID.
Yeah, without question. I think that's a very reasonable position.